their combo games, and 3, 2, 1, and pills.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we will
oh,
call
we
that match as soon as we can see it. There we go. Shout out to our restreamer D Dave. We love you and we appreciate you, dude. Here we go with on Betty's side. We see a lot of yellow and a lot of blue, no access to red whatsoever. She is
oof.
trying to use those reds as strategically as she can to help minimize the garbage, and really nice horizontal there from Betty. Uh, but yeah, she doesn't want to see red right now, but she does have some open now.
Meanwhile, Don was seeing nothing but red in the pills that he was getting and used it really, really efficiently. Now he's going to need some blue to get the plans going. You see that he's got a horizontal on his top line and trying to make sure that there are plans that are going to build up underneath. So we'll see how that goes. And he uses the red to drop it down and create another combo. But guess what's there, Flindo? More blue.
Hey!
Hey,
And
great
speaking
combo
of
from Betty just now.
yeah, speaking of A, what a combo from Betty. You took the words right out of my mouth there, Savage. But that's all right. And now Betty, again, not wanting to see any of the red. Actually, would love to see a yellow red for her. Doesn't use it where I thought she would, though. Is elects to
Mm,
go in column 8. I thought she was maybe going to set up some horizontals there in the center of her board. But speaking of the center of
there it is.
boards, yeah,
Yeah, that's the
sweet
one she wanted. She
action.
was going for that red blue. Speaking of blue, that's what Don's got going in the center of this board right now. Let's see. Who is he going to go with for the T? And he does.
See, I saw the swim and my brain was there. Didn't even see
Mm-hmm.
the T.
Yeah,
It's,
I do not know my strokes very well, so I'm never never going to see the swim.
hey, different strokes for different folks. It's all good.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
But we've got a pretty tight game here. 5 viruses for, or now 4 for Betty, 7 for Dawn. Just got to clear out this blue here in her column 3, and she'll have a horizontal red all ready to go. Of course, Betty, we know the queen of horizontal magic, and that blue red, perfect, followed by a double blue. She's going to be out at a 244, 5 seconds faster than Don, who's shaking his head. But hey, Don, you're playing a great game so far.
Yeah, that's nothing to shake your head about. I mean, I know that that end felt a little bit slow, but that wasn't that wasn't Don's fault. He was playing this extremely well so far. Currently, Betty's got that board advantage. She had a bunch of doubles available to her at the beginning, and wow, did you just see she had like a very tiny micro adjustment there? Her pill maneuvering is spectacular here.
Yeah, I missed it. I was looking at Don's board. That'll be
Ooh,
one to
nice.
look at later on.
Yeah, he just had a good maneuver as well, sort of a little lightning bolt kind of thing.
I love to see that. And speaking of things you love to see, Don would love to
Woo!
see red and yellow right now.
Oh, and Betty
We're
just cleared out like a 3 by 4 chunk of viruses. That was spectacular.
Yeah, the combo game from both of these players is just
Mhm.
absolutely wild all throughout this tournament. We've seen time after time these players just pull off some really amazing things. I know Betty had some in her match against Floyd earlier that was just holy cow. How does she even see these things? And that's one of the strengths of her play is her board vision and her combo style. And if she can just keep both
Mhm.
going strongly without creating too much garbage for herself, she's got a real shot here.
Ooh, you saw Don shaking his head with a little bit of a smile. That is because of columns 5 and 6 on that board. You see that double yellow turn sideways. It was a tuck gone slightly awry. So he's not happy about that. It's going to cause some problems. He's probably going to have to approach it differently, build up a platform to maybe make a horizontal with those yellows still. So we'll see how that goes. But meanwhile, Betty is setting up some stuff. She is already with a gigantic fat log
Oh, look
if
at this drop
everything comes
cross.
through. Oh, that was awesome.
Indeed, it was. And there's the fat log.
Mhm.
She's clearing the board with a little fat log. and she's clearing her board now with a vertical out at a 446. Two more levels here to go for Betty, but a nice little drop combo there from
Mhm.
Dawn on his side. Looking to clear out these yellows horizontally. And just as I was fixing to say, better to go on the left side with that red yellow and open up the red that was underneath. Now just needing a nice combo there that I didn't see. He's out at about a 513.
Yeah, he had that double yellow flip the wrong way and really did wait and build around it and built it into a strong end game. So now he's working with a top line where he's going to need a lot of red to get this going. Wow, Betty looks like she's actually playing versus right now. We say all the time that she uses her versus pedigree, but she was up so close to the top, and that would be an escape artist moment in a versus game.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, but Betty's still, even with that, doing a great job. Probably setting up for maybe a horizontal red here at the top. Would have to clear out these yellows to do it. And with setting up that blue red that way, that's absolutely what she's going for. Gonna need a red yellow, and there it is.
Mhm.
Gonna clear out a lot of viruses here. Now we'll be looking potentially to clear out that yellow in her column one horizontally to drop down the blues. Really not quite going for the exact setup to do that with. Gonna need a double yellow, and here it is. And she sets it up to get a third drop into another combo. Betty again just showing off her versus pedigree, showing off her board vision, doing a great job. But look over at Don. He's got a lead here,
Mhm.
Savage.
Yeah, he's been able to rip off some really nice combos bit by bit as he goes through this board. RNG was cooperating with giving him blue at the right time, and he was able to do just the right stuff with it. There was a great drop T or a T into a double vertical. Really nice stuff. And luckily, diversity holding out for him so far, but he does need red to get these plans advanced. This blue red going to be great for him. And he's still 5 in the lead, but at this stage in the game, there's still level 17 to go. Anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Betty now in her end game, and she's actually regained the lead here over Dawn. But Dawn with a lot of double opportunities already set up. And yep, you see him set up that
Mhm.
blue for the horizontal. Really nice play by him. Betty just needing two blues, one yellow. Dawn just needing two reds. 742 for him.
Oh,
740 for Betty.
oh
She's
my
got a
gosh.
2-second lead here.
Oh,
What's gonna happen in this level 17, Stav? I don't know.
oh
You
my
don't know.
gosh.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
The
knows yet, but I'm excited for it, whatever it is. Woo, great combo from Dawn to get this board cracking a little bit. He's shaking his head because of the center of that board. It's going to be tough to maneuver around that yellow blue that he's got for himself there. A Yeah, this is going to be great. Manages to get out of that trouble with a drop T. Still that yellow piece a little bit tricky, but he's in much better of a situation.
Yeah, would love to see one more yellow here for Dawn.
Oops.
Drop that down. Even if he gets a blue, tuck that in there. I'm not going for it, but there's the yellow that he needs. Um, Brings his board down to a much more manageable level. But the fortunate thing for Dawn here is Betty was having some issues on her side as well, getting things cleared out to a manageable level, and it's kept it very close here. Dawn right now with a 3 virus advantage. But Betty does have the 2-second timer advantage on her side. And, again, we do go by the timers and not necessarily who we see finish on the stream first. So keep that in mind as we move forward.
Mhm. Yeah, Betty is trying her dangest to build some big combos. She's really reliant on that blue to clear out the center of the board. The board won't move until she does that. And it wasn't easy for her. It wasn't a situation where she could have built up stuff when that horizontal fell. It just wasn't going to go like that. Wow, look at that from
Oh,
Dawn. Oh my gosh.
speaking of horizontals, that was absolutely wild.
This is so cool. I
Dawn
love
now
this
with a
game.
7 virus lead. We all love this game. The game doesn't always love us, but that's
That's
okay.
so true, so true. But yeah, he is set up for just the cleanest end game. Unfortunately, at the end, it would be amazing if you could set up to have those reds be taken horizontally at the bottom, but the pills just didn't show up in the right order. So Dawn's going to be waiting for those vertically. Meanwhile, Betty's got some good things going. She is going to be taking that blue out vertically. Looks like she's fixing, in your words,
Yes.
to try to go horizontally there with something, but she's leaving her options open.
Yeah,
Oh,
these 2
oh,
yellow reds, perfect for Betty. She's just gonna need 3 blues, but Dawn is gonna be out
oh,
first at a
oh,
10:29. So darn close between these
oh,
2 players, and, of course, Betty now not even getting the blues.
oh.
10:39, 10-second game. Holy cow.
Mm, that was outstanding. That was everything I hoped for. I would like to see 4 more of those, please.
I know, right? And
That is what I would like.
let's throw an overtime in there just for
Yeah, why
kicks.
not? Oof, almost had one of those. Ooh,
You did, that was
oh boy.
wild.
You don't wanna be on the receiving end of that, for sure.
No, no, no. But when you're watching, that's all you wanna see is free Dr.
Mhm.
Mario.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Or if you wanna
Alright.
pay for your Dr. Mario, subscribe to the DRMC.
Exactly. It helps us out with stuff for our live tournaments, equipments, and whatnot. So we've got our 3, 2, 1 pills, but every little bit of support helps. Use that Prime sub if you got it.
Alright, Don gonna be out, a second between him and Betty. Let's see here. A nice little start here for Dawn. Nothing extraordinary, but he's making really smart plays to clear out his board and bring this down and keep it as even as possible. Now, he does have those reds and yellows in his columns 5 and 6. They are a little bit spired, but he's going to be able to clear that out pretty quickly. And he starts to work on that right there.
Mhm. Meanwhile, Betty needed a bunch of red, yellow to get her plans going, and it worked. Now, you can see that she's really hoping to clear out those blues horizontally. And wow, the sequence comes just right for her. That was awesome. And she looks like she's setting up for something else. She is going to be working on a horizontal there, a T to drop into triple verticals. Amazing.
Yeah, and Don just had some really nice, excuse me, horizontal plays of his own, dropping stuff down that looked like garbage, but looking down his board and turning that garbage into gold. Shout outs to Swong. We miss you. We hope you're back with us next month. But Dawn now 15 viruses, Betty 18. Betty working on
Mhm.
some horizontal plays and has now the red set up at the bottom of her board. And oh, look at that, an offset fat log.
Gotta love it. Now, Dawn's endgame was just filled with horizontals and everything came out in the right order. He got a really lucky double blue, a double yellow, and now he just needs 2 more pieces of yellow and he's going to clear out. He's going to be out at a 153. Betty not too far behind. Now she's just going to need reds. That was a really well set up combo. So she's going to be out at just about 2 minutes. Oh, an opening fat log from Dawn on that level 15. Nicely done.
Hey, you know I love me a good fat log.
You do. I
And
mean, don't we all?
yeah, and sadly I missed that one because I was watching Betty's end game. But yeah, Betty was out about 10 seconds behind Dawn. And 6 viruses behind here, but you see Betty already getting these setups that she needs and the exact pills that she needs for them. So yeah, Betty just going to town here on this level 15, and we see Dawn with some really spectacular setups as well. Don't know about that yellow blue though in column
Mm.
4.
Yeah, and he definitely didn't know about that yellow blue. That's the more important thing. He's not sure about it. Notice his column 7, it's got that blue piece of garbage. He was also shaking his head at that placement. There is a world in which he could get those blues horizontally, but he's already opted not to do that. So he's chosen the more straightforward way to go, which makes sense based on the formations that are coming up soon. Betty, who's just has a slight lead over Dawn right now, needs a bunch of red. The reds are doubled up nicely, so they will come off pretty efficiently. And there she goes. She's going to get a beautiful yellow horizontal, drops the blue, no garbage over there.
Yeah, Betty just doing a really, really nice job here. Now, both players, as they move into their mid to end games, looking a little bit color dependent, actually. We see Betty needing a lot of red and a lot of
Oh,
yellow. Ooh, and I don't think she wanted that yellow blue there. My instinct tells me she wanted it vertically in column 5 to go for the long yellow horizontal.
hmm.
But she may prove me wrong here. Those blues in her column 7, she does still have the potential to drop that down and make it useful. And in fact, this red yellow is going to do exactly that. Drops into a horizontal, and now she just needs this one more yellow to drop this horizontal. Is she going to put this blue red? She is, and there's the long horizontal she was looking for. Now one more long horizontal, and she will be out of her level 15. Both of these players looking for reds. Betty gonna get hers first though, out at a 428. Dawn at a 432. Now Betty with a 4-second lead over Dawn.
Yeah, he shook his head at the end of that level. He knew that it didn't come down perfectly for him. There was that slowdown at the start, but basically with a game this close, every level is just the start of the match again. So that's always kind of exciting and kind of scary. It comes down to whose pills cooperate, who's able to get lower amounts of drop time. Both of these players, you can see that they're really trying to avoid long drops because that adds up after a while. But yeah, Dawn now with a little bit of a mess here at the top of that board, a little too much yellow mixed up where he doesn't want it.
Yeah, but Don's got a really nice horizontal opportunity if he can get a double blue or maybe manufacture a double blue. Oh, and look, there's the double blue,
Mm.
but he had blocked it off. But it's not going to matter because he gets
Woo!
a yellow blue to
Oh.
drop down and make a really fantastic combo. Oh, and look
Ooh.
at the double red for Dawn. Going to be able to tuck that in and make a cross into a vertical drop clear. Dawn just again showing off his board vision, and he's saying, "Hey, you know what? Betty's not the only one who can do this stuff. I can do this too."
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely saw that in the last match as well as this one. Speaking of Betty, she's still holding a teeny bit of a lead. She came into this level a little bit ahead, but now it's going to be in that stage where it trades back and forth. That was a beautiful drop. The garbage fell just perfectly. You never know. It always looks like there's something on top that you don't want. And these players know how to take it down a couple layers. It's double red, great for Betty. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, Dawn just had a kind of compact sideways F clear on the right side of his board that was really really cool. Just wanted to shout that out because that was something you got to go back and watch if you didn't see. Now we see Betty horizontal red here, potential for a horizontal yellow. Just got to clear out these blues that will drop down some more blues. It's all blue now for Betty. The B is for blue, and that's what she needs. Four more blues. There's one. There's two. Don also with some blues on his side. Betty's gonna get hers first out at 7 minutes flat. Now Don just needing red. There's one. There's two. One more game. Where is it? There it is. A 4-second deficit is now an 11-second deficit for Dawn as we move into our final level of this game, too.
Mhm. And wow, Betty's playing stacked up really high right now. That red yellow, just the perfect thing to come through, open up some diversity. And I think she played that next yellow really intelligently to just keep that board opening up. I know that she loves her horizontals, loves her combos, but at this stage with so much red, you just want to get to that next layer. So she is at 52 and Dawn's at 52. He has already closed this gap. We got ourselves a barn burner, folks.
Yeah, Dawn actually was in danger of a top out. but managed to get just the right pill to clear out all of his garbage and drop that board down to looking a lot safer. And he's pretty squeaky clean now, actually. No garbage to speak of whatsoever. Whereas Betty does have a tiny piece of garbage there in her column one. But if she's able to get a red yellow, she will clear that out pretty
Mm,
quickly. And there it is. Elects to clear the yellows in column three rather than column one. And I think it's a good idea because column three is going to give her more access to stuff, whereas clearing out in column one, it just clears out column one.
mhm. Exactly, and she could have used that for diversity. Speaking of diversity, she doesn't really have much right now. She's gonna be able to get that beautiful L, but wow, so much yellow here on this board. Dawn's a little bit more, things are a little bit more available to use every pill with not a lot of drop time. So this double red coming in great for him. Ooh, he has just taken that lead back a little bit.
Yep, 4-6. Betty's going to take a horizontal. Betty's going to take another
Oh.
horizontal.
Oh,
Who's going to
it's
get their
gonna
blues
come down.
first? Betty only needs two.
Ah!
One,
Oh my
two.
god.
It's going to be Betty with a 922.
Oh, oh my gosh, and that was so much faster than their first game. Dawn added a 9:29. That's
Oh,
right.
man.
Oh, best of 5 becoming a best of 3.
It looked like Dawn was going to take that. And then Betty just got all the right pills in the right order that she needed and came back and kept her lead that she had at the beginning of the level. Wild stuff here as we go into game three. Chat, what do you guys think? Who takes game three? I don't even know. They're so close.
Whew. Betty is ready. Did we have a ready? We did have a ready from Dawn, and 3, 2, 1, and pills. Meow, beer, beer, beer. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, and yeah, just so many good things happening here today and this entire weekend on the DRMC. We hope you've been enjoying the stream so far. If you're watching on YouTube, we hope that you have enjoyed the VOD. Throw us a like, throw us a comment, throw some love to these players because they deserve it. Give these players a follow if you're here on Twitch live with us today. Um, Everybody, it's just been so good today, and it's another good one here as we have a 36-38 so far. Betty with a pretty interesting board state here, Savage.
Yeah, that column 8, I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, dropping it down, it's gonna give Betty a second to plan a little bit more. Uh, there's an uncharacteristic amount of garbage here on top of this board at the moment. You're not seeing a ton of horizontals being planned. It's just, okay, garbage maintenance mode it's time to clear out that. But she's gonna be pretty open. Needs to get that blue going. Meanwhile, Dawn's in a much better position. I thought that he might take that yellow blue and stick it vertically there, but it might have brought things down, and then that
Oh
wouldn't have
goodness.
happened. Oh my goodness, love it.
Yeah, no, it's worth mentioning that Dawn has watched a lot of Frank when he streamed a lot of Dr. Mario. We miss you, Frank. We hope that you're feeling better and that you're able to join us again soon. But I gotta wonder how much of Frank's strategies that Don has incorporated into his own gameplay because that's not something that we would have seen from Don a couple years ago.
Mhm. Every player adapting their style so much. Betty out at a 206. That end game turned out to be quite clean. Everything cooperated with her as well. And she's just setting up these really straightforward short stacks to get the opening of her level 15 going. And she's already ripped quite a few viruses off the board because of the formation there. We see Don shaking his head. He's out at about a 224. And yeah, he's at a 10 virus deficit. But these beginning games of these levels, they go quickly.
That they do, and both of these players are playing very quickly. Um, just doing a great job. Betty really not wanting to see blue though at the moment. Although, as I say that, she sets herself up with a nice
Mhm.
horizontal blue in the center of her board. And now looking to get this cross clear right there. And still not a lot of access to blue, but she's looking down the board, seeing places where she can put those blues to make them more useful later on. She's got a 10 virus lead over Dawn, who also actually does not want to see blue Sev.
Yeah, no, not so much. But the thing about both of these players is that they were using the blue pill halves to their advantage. They were using them to set up other stuff coming down. So, RNG not totally cooperating for a straightforward game, but they're making it work. And you see Don, he is signaling that he's going to want to take that yellow in the center of the board out horizontally. And as soon as that red comes out of column 5, he'll be able to do that. That also works. So, yeah, really nice flat top line for Don. You kind of want to see that as you go through that level. You don't want to be spired. He's probably going to take that column 1 last unless he gets a double red towards the end where the time is right. But Betty has really continued to open up this lead over Dawn.
Yeah, Betty with 9, now 7 viruses, Dawn with 21. Betty just playing absolute lights out Dr. Mario here.
Woo!
And you see that setup when
Oh,
she's able to clear
oh.
this red in column 3. The blues drop down, get the horizontal. She's out at a 426 rather. 2 levels remaining for her in this level block, and Dawn needing quite a bit of red to get down, but he's getting the reds that he's looking for. Nice drop combo into a horizontal there for Dawn, and every pill that I said after he needs red was red. So the exact RNG that he was looking for. He's out 12 viruses behind Betty at this point.
Oh, and she just got a really lucky double blue there to clear out that top. Now, no need for yellow, but of course, these players are going to make that need not necessary. It's everything is going to work out for them. Dawn did have a combo that nearly sent me into a fit because it did look like it was going to freeze that game for a second. Now he is working on needing red and yellow. A red yellow would be perfect for him to take that right hand side in a fat log, but this double red will also do it, leave things open for a really nice combo. He's taken down this board. It may look like column 8 is spired, but if he tucks in between those yellows, things will fall out really easily for him.
Yeah, and there he goes setting that up with the 2 yellow blues. Absolutely perfect. RNG there, exactly what he needed to drop that down. He's actually now taken a very slight lead over Betty, who is getting blues that she does not want,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Really, what Betty wants is reds, reds, and hey, more reds would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, there's not really much place to put other stuff that won't block up those channels to get to the reds. So I was really hoping for some red yellows to make a fat log towards the bottom of that board. Just didn't quite pan out there. So she's gonna be waiting. And meanwhile, Don is in a great situation. He is really open here. I think he is gonna manufacture that fat log. It's going to be an offset fat log timber. As soon as that red comes down, boom, there it goes. Very nice end game for Dawn on this level 16. Look at how clean Betty is all of a sudden. Holy cow.
Yeah, Betty just suddenly got everything that she was looking for, and she actually almost all cleared this level. She's out now at a 704. So now Dawn with the virus lead here. It's only a 4 virus lead, and Betty again. Oh, that's gonna be an issue for her. She's gonna have
Mhm.
to find another way to clear out that yellow, probably from underneath, but that's going to slow her down quite a bit here.
Mhm, yeah, not having access to that column 8 when it's already tricky to get to column 8 at the top of these levels, that's gonna be tough, and yeah, it's still, like, a little bit of garbage on garbage, but that red she's taken it down, but she's just taken it down whichever way and not necessarily using, foresight with the layers there. She can't at the moment. She's just sort of in maintenance mode. Whereas Dawn, look at how clean this board is. It is. It's really nice. And he's got a little bit of breathing room, but not very much.
Yeah, and even with that though, Betty did was actually able to use some of her foresight and drop things down to make them actually pretty useful. Now just needing to clear this blue out, gonna create a nice drop cross into another drop vertical. Betty has cleaned this board up and she's only 4 viruses behind. It could have been a much worse issue for Betty, and she's just done a really nice job cleaning that up. Now, would love to see her take out this yellow horizontally. She does do so. We see her drill down to get another horizontal towards the left side of her board. I think she's going for another horizontal, and that red blue perfect.
Meanwhile, Dawn's got a red blue, and he needs basically nothing but red. And he was shaking his head a little bit because he just wasn't really getting it in the order that he wanted. And so he is just trying to make sure that efficiency comes as much as possible. He is ready to use any red to do something good to advance that board. So this double red, excellent for him. Yeah, using the horizontal at the bottom seems like a good move. And I'm wondering how many horizontals Dawn is going to go for at the bottom of this board because everything is kind of chunked up horizontally, Flindo.
Yeah, you actually might say that Dawn was red E to use the reds.
I would not.
You might though. You
I
might. You
might,
might.
I
You
might,
might.
but I actually. And there we
Oh,
go.
but
Look
look
at
at
that.
that drop log.
Timber! Drop that log there for Dawn.
And Don now goes up 2 games to 1. He's just got to win one more to claim his first ever gold bracket championship. Um, so the way this game has gone so far, it's been Dawn, Betty, Dawn. So it's Betty's turn.
Oh my goodness. These two are not disappointing at all. Actually, I hardly even noticed it was level 17. I was just kind of hoping these
Yeah, I didn't
players would
either.
just go through to 20. I'm mesmerized. So, folks, you can pay attention to the numbers yourselves. Uh, we are just going to be super stoked over here.
Absolutely. Now both of our players set up and just waiting for the readies. We have one from Dawn. And there we go. Ready from Betty. Shout outs to Dr. Seuss. And here we go. We have our countdown 3, 2, 1. Hills. Can Betty force a decider? Feed those crows tuppence a bag. We are going to find out here shortly. I like this setup from Dawn going for the drop
Mm.
into the sweet tea. Really nice.
Yeah, that was excellent, and very nice use of that next box there to see that that blue was coming now. He doesn't need much blue, but luckily getting a little bit of a drought of blue with those pills, which is okay at this point. Now he's gonna need a lot of red, but he's been able to open up about a 6, 7 virus lead here and not needing too much fancy stuff to do it. It's just been really straightforward sailing for Dawn and looks great so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I was just thinking about this. I know this is a Nintendo game, but if If that's the next box, can the bottle be the PlayStation?
It cannot. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we have Betty
window
here
is
doing
on
some nice
fire,
things. This
folks.
window's on fire.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Uh,
Wow. So,
it's been a fun run in the booth, you guys.
uh,
Savage is gonna
so
fire me after this.
yeah, pretty much. No, just kidding. Yeah, so it's about a 6 virus deficit for Betty, and the shape of Dawn's board a little bit more advantageous. You want to be flatter here, and so a double red would be just amazing for Dawn. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to manufacture something like that. Nah, he decides that he's going to take down the blue. He's going to sacrifice the blue in order to get this going, and boom, everything is open now. So he's got pretty smooth sailing. And meanwhile, Betty still looks like dealing with some tough RNG there. She drops into a horizontal, into another vertical, which is great, but still has those spires on columns 1 and 8, while Dawn is out of his 15.
Yep, Dawn out at a 204. Betty is working for this horizontal that she just got. Now is actually completely open. We'll just need this blue in her
Mhm.
next box. And that's going to drop down into her PlayStation. I don't care. I'm using it. 224 for Betty.
I was
And
actually gonna go there. Oh, you took it. I was actually gonna go for your terrible, terrible joke. I love it. Um, Dawn off to a really good start here in his level 15. Now he needs just a ton of blue and yellow. He's doing that little head tilting thing when you're like kind of willing something to happen. Oh, he does not like what has just happened, but a blue yellow or a double blue will make things not too bad. There we go. Ooh, but I thought he was going to try to underclear that blue, and now it's just going to float on top, probably being one of the last things that he's going to clear.
yeah, I mean, he's got it cleared up now. And a double blue could potentially open that up. And it wouldn't actually be terrible for him to drop this down because you see the yellow that's there connected to the blue. He could potentially clear out these reds from his column 2 to his column 6. And that yellow would actually be kind of useful for him at that point. I don't think he's going to go for that, though. It does cause a lot of drop time, but it is an option that he has if he decides to do that. Meanwhile, we look over at Betty's side. She's fixing to get a drop into a
Mm.
cross. Really nice play there by Betty. She's actually got a lead now over Dawn. Him having to work around that blue mist drop there on the left side of his board. It slowed him down a little bit, allowed Betty to catch up here.
Mhm. And Betty was just able to motor through that board very methodically, just set up everything. She's out at a 411. Yeah, in your end game, you always want to have both horizontal and vertical options, and she made those happen. So these two are neck and neck going into level 16. And just like I said last time, it basically just means that every level is the start of the match. Beautiful opening combo for Dawn there, horizontal into a double vertical.
Yeah, these players essentially hitting the reset button on each other without actually resetting the game, and it's just wild. I'm loving how close these two are in skill, in speed, in combo vision, in being able to look down the board and make things useful. We have Betty here with 46, Dawn also with 46. Both players just setting up things, trying to avoid that drop time and create as much useful pill halves using every little bit of pill that they have. Definitely no pun intended there, I swear, to their advantage. And Betty is actually keeping her board really, really nice and flat. But as far as the diversity goes, I think I favored Dawn's just ever so slightly.
Mm. And he managed to open up that combo. That was utterly spectacular. And yeah, his board is going to melt away provided that he gets enough blue to advance it. Notice he's got a horizontal possibility here in row 3 with the reds, and then he's got another one brewing in row 2 with reds. So he is in a really good spot. Of course, once that blue shows up, boom, it's clearing out. Yeah, Dawn is in a great sitch right now.
Yeah, double red would have been really great for Don. He didn't need it though because he was able to reach that red across, get the horizontal. Now would a double red honestly would still be really great for him. Just take both of these reds out at once. He's not going to get the double. Well, actually, there it is, out Packy style at a 619 into his final level. Just looking to put Betty away here, take his first ever gold bracket championship. Got to be careful with that though. He's able to get that down. The center of his board looking a lot more manageable here. Betty, I think, looking to clear out these yellows horizontally. Not entirely sure. Yeah, that was the plan because now she's got this blue set up horizontally at the bottom, but was in a little bit of a red rush. Now getting those blues, she's out at a 653. Dawn, though, already down to 46.
Mm.
26 viruses behind the eight ball here is Betty D plays G's. She's got to have the level 17 of her life here to catch up.
Yeah, definitely. And all of those colors have to cooperate with her and kind of not cooperate with Dawn. And Dawn needs a bunch of red blue right now. So there he goes. He drops it into a cross. Really nicely done for Dawn. And another horizontal to boot. He is going to need blue there. Some blue red would be great to make a fat log there for Dawn in the center of the board, but that's not strictly necessary. He's just going to have to not block off those possibilities. So he does. Oh, he does make another horizontal with the blues. Very nicely done. And again, waiting for that one blue red to keep everything squeaky clean.
Yeah, and gonna take it here. Just uses the double blue over on his column 7, just as garbage. And because he saw he had the red blue coming up next, and it's looking pretty good for Dawn here. Just needing to get some reds to break down to the rest of this board. Meanwhile, Betty, holy
Mm.
cow, that is so many
Mm.
yellows and reds at the top of her board.
I hate
And
it.
yeah, it's not pretty. I don't like it. It's an ugly board.
Yeah,
Miyamoto, what were you doing?
I guess he wasn't getting his game in gear. Am I right? No, I'm
GG's.
not. And
GG's Game
with
Gear.
that, Don is going to shut us up. He's added an 840, and Don taking his very first gold bracket win. And honestly, I don't know if we as a community deserved this amazing finals, but this is the finals that we got. Betty just having amazing run through that bracket, Dawn kicking butt. This is exactly what we wanted to see.